Hello guys, it's Noah, the guy behind Perpetual Shelves. I came up with the most original idea on the planet. I am gonna let you know what helps me become a better reader. Notice I did not say faster, I said better. This is more of like a comprehension thing instead of a speed reading thing. I'm gonna kind of just cut straight to the point. I don't have a ton of time, but I wanted to make this video. Bullet number 1, read as much as you can, but keep it realistic. If you have a lot of obligations on your schedule and you can only manage, say, 10, 20 pages a day, respect that. Hey, there's a lot of us out there that are blessed to read, 50, 60, 70 pages a day, but I don't think that's realistic, to be quite honest with you. I think nowadays 20, 30 pages is honestly just fine. This depends. This can vary with the type of book you're reading, of course, or the difficulty of the prose, but be realistic with it and stick to it. Build a routine around your reading, whether it's where you read, how you read. There's people that read while listening to music with lyrics, which I don't know how you do that, but hey, find a routine, stick with it, be positive about it. Number 2, respect the pace that the book sets for you. By this, I mean, if you pick up The Great Gatsby one day and you find that you're having an easy time reading it, you kind of get into a flow state, you can comprehend it well, and you feel confident in your reading, that's fine. You did a good job, keep doing it. But you're going to encounter that not every book is made equally. There are books out there like Infinite Jest, Gravity's Rainbow. Trying to think of another longer book that's hard. Trying to think. Let me look at my shelf. Even just sometimes poetry does this. Just books that can vary on the spectrum of literary value. When it comes to those big books, those challenging books, like I said, Gravity's Rainbow, Infinite Jest, you're going to find that you're going to probably be exhausted quicker than you are with, say, The Hunger Games, Great Gatsby, stuff like Stephen King. And when you are reading a more difficult book, when you decide to challenge yourself, you're going to run into that wall where you slow down, and you need to respect that. That's okay. It's okay to read, an old philosopher or David Foster Wallace and encounter a little bit of a wall. That's okay. Everybody reads differently, but it is important that you respect the pace the book sets for you. Number 3 is be more intentional with reading. By that, I mainly just mean, I find it, can't speak for everybody, I find it easier to become I find it easier to get through a book that I already have an established interest in. Maybe I think the author has a mysterious life or a crazy life, or maybe it's a genre I like already, or it's a topic. For instance, like I like geology, so stuff like John McPhee, I like it a lot because I already kind of knew I would. So if you like horror, Stephen King, Dean Koontz, it's the classics, Richard Matheson, just fiction. If you want F. Scott Fitzgerald, J.D. Salinger, if you like coming of age stories, stick with that. It's good to branch out here and there, and I'll get to that. But I find it is easier to make the conscious effort to read deeply when you stick with something that you already have a foundation to build off of. The next one is annotate/notes. I actually don't really annotate a ton, mainly because I mostly read for my own pleasure. I don't really plan on reviewing books, nor do I really want to review books. I've thought about it here on this channel, but I do highlight, prose I like, words I don't know about, like funny little things that I find in the books. I found a misprint in the book I'm reading right now. One thing I recently discovered that I really enjoy and is a great idea in my opinion, I'm going to shout out another booktuber, The Active Mind. That's TheActivMind. His name is Brock, if I remember correctly. I can't quote him verbatim, but I believe he made a video with a similar title, and he spoke about when you come to that like kind of chapter break, page break, where at the end of a chapter there's like that, there's the white space. I believe he mentioned, summarize the chapter you just read in your own thoughts. What kind of questions do you have? What you liked, what you didn't like, almost like a weird mini review / regurgitation, is kind of what I picked up from his video. And while I don't do that every time I read, I have found it to be useful. Maybe when I read a chapter in a more mysterious book, or if I read a chapter and I'm kind of like not sure what just happened, and that not sure what happened feeling can come from anything really. Sometimes I do still like drift away during reading, and I come back to it being like, what did I just read? Kind of like whenever you're driving on the highway and you forget you're alive, and then you're like, oh, how am I even driving? I do that with books, but Brock's technique really helps, and I would suggest trying that out. You should go check out his YouTube video. I like your content. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but if you do, keep doing what you're doing. I wish you would post a little bit more, but dude, I think you have like a wife, so yeah, I'm sure that takes up a lot of time. I need to get into Russian literature too. He'll know what I'm talking about. Another point that I want to make, another bullet point, is don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. I probably sound like a counselor, but if you read easier books, romance, sci-fi, not saying those have to be easy, but don't be afraid to read A Gravity's Rainbow, A War and Peace, Infinite Jest. I don't think it's necessarily a hard book, but like Count of Monte Cristo, longer commitments, longer literary commitments. I sound smart, but I'm not. Don't be afraid to, kind of skill check yourself. I think it's healthy to not get too complacent in your reading. Now, this is the last point I have. I want to keep it pretty short on this video. I don't have a ton of time, but the last one I would this might also be pretty divisive. It depends on your spending habits, but if you are near a library, I would suggest taking advantage of the library. Not only does it save you money, you can check out a book, you don't like it, you take it back, you check out a book, you like it, you buy your own copy. I've actually kind of started using the library as a trial. Not all the time, but I've used it as like a trial, like a 14-day trial thing, because I think you get the book here. I think the library I stay close to, you get the book for 2 weeks, and there's been a few times I really liked the book, but I just didn't happen to finish it in that 2 weeks. I'll go out to Barnes & Noble, find a copy of it, buy it, and then just pick up where I left off. So if you're a person like me who's in college, but also has to keep a roof over their head, I'm not made of money, so the library saves you a lot of money. So if you're in a position where you don't have the most disposable income, take use of your library. I swear it's a smart idea if you let it happen. You'd be surprised what you can find at some libraries too. I live in a town of like 100K, and I've come across like weird, obscure Japanese authors that I like, authors that I look up on Instagram, and they have like 500 followers or less, like small artists, and you get like their whole library sometimes. And that's always really neat. And I mean, honestly, that's about it for this video. I know it was real short, straight to the point, but that's how I like things. I try to be concise. I ramble on a lot. But yeah, thank you for watching, and have a good day.